Hi, Justine. I'm Leon, and I wanted to record a quick video because I believe that sometimes the tone of what people are saying is lost in the text of what they are writing. And I think that may be slightly what's going on in this particular comment thread on occasion. I would just like to point out that I'm not sure what you mean when you say I'm picking and choosing my information instead of looking at the whole picture. When specifically with the gun control discussion, the whole picture would have included the assault rifles ban and the clip restriction sizes, or the size restrictions for clips. But as if you note from my comments here, and if you saw my page, any of my other comments, I can understand people who don't agree with the AR ban or with the clip ban, and I might personally support them and would support them on a state level, but I can understand someone being against them on a federal level. And I thought that a balanced approach was the conservative Republican senator from Pennsylvania and the conservative Democratic senator from West Virginia putting forward a background check bill that wasn't even universal, that literally just closed the loopholes, and a gun trafficking bill, again, from a conservative senator from Maine, that would have strengthened our gun trafficking laws. And the fact that the Republican Party, and whether or not that's a label, it's a self-applied label, that they have chosen to apply that to themselves, the Republican Party in the Senate wouldn't even allow those two measures, which are balanced, and which many would argue are balanced and are biased towards conservatives, wouldn't even allow them to come up for a vote. They required a supermajority to even hear or debate the bills, and then they filibustered it. So I don't understand how much more balanced people are supposed to try to be in looking at the whole picture. Balance was saying, hey, listen, we don't all agree with the AR ban, we don't all agree with clip size ban, we think there could potentially be Second Amendment issues, and because we can't agree on this, let's move to the things that are common sense. And we had senators who did that, and then a party that chose to block it. And so I try to look at the picture wholly. As for the victimization question, I have been called many things in my life, and I have been told I can't do many things in my life simply because of who I am or the color of my skin. And I have chosen not to be a victim about that. I've chosen to be loud and vociferously opposed to those who express those views. And I have gone out and I have gone to the Supreme Court. I have been to Harrisburg when they were trying to pass things in Pennsylvania. I have marched in parades. I have made myself known and my opinion known on it instead of just sitting idly by and being a victim in the shadows. So I quite frankly resent that comment. And I do. As for me labeling you, I apologize if that offended you. The points that you seem to be bringing up frequently sounded like Republican circulated talking points that have been pushed a lot on certain news outlets. So if that does not accurately describe you, then I apologize for misreading that, which is part of why I meant sometimes the tone is lost in the text. All of that being said, if you are living in North Carolina now and you have no problem with equal marriage and equal access to marriage rights, then I would beg you, please contact your Congress critters and let them know. Because right now, the Republican leadership in Congress, and again, this is Republican leadership, I'm not just arbitrarily choosing to group people together. They have self-labeled themselves this, and they have banded together as a group to make sure DOMA survives, and many of them want to bring back Don't Ask, Don't Tell. And I would hope that you could call your senators and your congressmen and make sure they know that that's not right, and that you don't agree with them, and that you're not affiliated with the party, and that could potentially affect your vote. Because in my opinion, and I hope in others, civil rights and issues of life and death should always trump any other policy issue. Because until we have equality and rights, we aren't American. We aren't abiding by our Constitution. So there's that. As to your gay is a label, straight is a label, Republican, we're all Americans. I agree. We are all Americans. Being Americans, those aren't mutually exclusive things. I can be a gay American. I can be an Irish American. I can be a black American. I can be a Democrat American. I can be a Green Party American. And the fact is, there are some people who are Republicans and are also American. And frequently their party trumps their Americanism. And if you don't see that, then we just have a very different view of what's going on in Congress right now. And I hope one day we can get past that. I like the discussion we're having, and I thought that I had been highlighting the fact that I am happy that we do agree on so many areas. I think that shows that, and I think that this comment thread is a demonstration that we do have areas we can agree on. And I think that it also highlights the fact that the parties in Congress, specifically the one that isn't allowing votes, are doing a disservice to Americans as a whole, regardless of their party, because of what they are doing, because they are obstructing votes and not allowing them to come to the floor, even when they are balanced, middle of the road, even right-leaning approaches proposed by right-leaning and Republican senators. So I hope that as time goes on, we can, as a country, move past this petty bickering that seems to be happening a lot. And I think a huge chunk of that falls squarely in the laps of Republicans in the Senate and in the House and at the national party level, who are choosing to, in their official party platform, which is voted on by anyone who's registered Republican, to have discrimination baked into it, to not allow votes. So once they get past those basic things, I might not agree with them on other issues, but I would never label them carte blanche. But if they choose to label themselves as an arbitrary group and choose to pursue these policies as a group, then I'm going to address them as a group. And that aside, this whole comment thread started because of the question of the letters in the ricin. And my one comment to that is, I don't know what the president was supposed to do. I don't understand why he needed to give everyone a collective hug. That seems more like making us all victims than anything else. He came out and he spoke very clearly and quickly on the Boston issue. And as for the ricin letters, again, the Capitol frequently gets letters like these. They were screened correctly. They were stopped from ever being anywhere near harming anybody. And we are, at this point, aren't even necessarily sure that the ricin was fully refined. And we have the guy in custody. So we know it's not related to the bombings. We know that it's not a serious threat. So the president going on national television and giving us all a collective hug about it only further feeds the flames of others who wish to do the same thing, because it shows them they're going to get media attention, and they shouldn't be getting media attention. I felt the same way during the anthrax scares. They were stopped, and we should not have given them the media flourish that we did, because it further instills that in other people. And we did have many copycat people sending fake anthrax to people following that. And I think we'll probably see a resurgence of that now with the ricin issue. So that's why I feel that way about that. I don't think we need a collective hug for something that wasn't an issue. And I am proud of our president for instead standing up and saying, listen, we have a common sense bipartisan agreement that wasn't even allowed to be voted on. And that is un-American. It is. That goes against what our Congress is designed to be doing. And I hope that we can continue to find common ground. I hope that we continue to have civil discourse. But I will say that saying that I am part of the problem without providing any backing to that and labeling isn't part of the problem, quite frankly, especially if they're self-applied labels, isn't helpful either. When you've been asked to leave a store because of the way you look, when you've been told someone won't sell something to you because of the color of your skin, when you've been told that you can't or shouldn't be holding someone's hand in a public space, when you've had someone who you love and trust tell you that you're going to die of AIDS just because of who you love, and then turn around and tell you that's why they support passing policies and laws. If you have someone look at you in the face and say that your relationship is lesser and different than mine, than are their own, then at that point, I hope that you can understand that it's not victimization, it's wrong. They are hurting people, and I, for one, am standing up against it. And I apologize if that offends some people. That's just who I am. Anywho, thanks for the civil discourse, especially up to this point. I hope that my tone is a little clearer now, and I hope that at some point I can understand your tone a little more. You don't have to necessarily record a video, but I'm really trying to understand where you're coming from in some of this, and it seems a little all over the place. So if you wanted to explain and clarify for me, I'd be more than happy to hear it. And in the meantime, I am happy that we do have areas where we have common ground, and I hope that on those areas that you'll call your elected officials, Republican, Democrat, or otherwise, and ask them to get on the right side of history and of where we should be as Americans. So that's it. Lunch is almost over.